back to Stream It. We missed last week, and that was supposed to be our wrap-up of Spookfest.
Right.
But
the finale.
yeah, it was going to be horror. But we can wrap that up real quick in the beginning, and then we'll move on to something new. But first, I have an opening question. I stole it right from the internet.
Good call.
What is one thing that TV shows or movies made you think was very common, but when you grew up, you realized that it wasn't?
I like it. One that jumped right out to me right off the bat was just like people who have these like regular jobs or like, you know, maybe don't work at all. And then they have these like grand houses or like cars or whatever it is. And you're like, wait, how's this person doing this and affording that? It just doesn't, it's not real life. It doesn't make sense. So that was just the glaring one that stood out to me, but I don't know. What do you?
Excellent point.
I did think that because I've never seen Friends, but I know like the apartments across from each other.
Yeah. The
Same
living
with
situations.
Seinfeld and with Jerry and Kramer live across from each other in these awesome Manhattan.
I want that.
And but the one that over paternity leave that I really noticed was the apartment in New Girl is so sweet.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what's his name? Doesn't have a job.
Nick
Doesn't have a job.
Yeah. He's
just as a school
that?
teacher.
Yeah.
And it seems like Schmidt works low level, and then
Yeah.
but anyway,
Like any struggling musician ever is just like, or artist. And it's just like, yeah, but I live in this like New York apartment. That's amazing. Like
the one I thought of was they totally lie about free time as an adult when you have a job.
Oh.
It's like in all these movies and TV shows, just like they're getting into all the shenanigans. It's like, but when you're at work from 8 to 4, it's like, you just got to drive home, think about dinner, maybe watch something. No one has that life.
Yeah.
I've never lived in a city and been like young and living in a city where maybe you just like are like, I'm going out after work, but
yeah, unless work is part of the like story, like, and then he went to work and did this. And
yeah.
Like, if it's not a part of it, then it's just like 4 days in a row of like shenanigans.
Yeah.
And
I always thought that with Dexter. It's like you got a lot of time to be a serial killer when you had to be a blood splatter analyst at Miami PD. Like,
it's true.
What about you?
Or these people are staying up until like
That's true.
3 a.m.
That's true.
Or it's just everything happens on the weekends. Movies are just weekend shows.
A movie has never taken place between Monday and Friday.
Yeah, no. Unless it's like a vacation that takes them, you know, a week long or whatever.
So I thought of two, and the first one immediately was based on every show I watched when I was like preteen. I thought I would get in way more fights at high school. That there'd be a lot more drama than there actually was. And in reality, I'm like, this is so boring.
I guess I did think of that a little bit. All of the high school things, the parties, I'm sure some things are, and you know, in some places things like that might happen. But I think in a movie or a show, it is always like cranked up because it's the same thing. They have all the decorations. They have the person with the rich house with the huge like. Some friend groups don't have a person with a rich house that
I don't
just
have a
has these
professional
huge parties.
DJ friend especially when I was in high school. That's like, hey, let me just make it so the whole neighborhood can hear us.
And my parents happen to be out of town again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
my parents have been out of town. Like,
the out of town trope is a huge one.
So yeah, I agree with you. The high school antics are always a little bit cranked up in movies and TV.
That was a huge one. And then shark attacks. I thought they were way more common based on every movie. Even if it's not a shark movie, it's always like, oh, someone fell off the boat. Here comes the sharks.
It's like every time you fall off a boat or even jump off a boat, like pretty good chance there's gonna be a shark
in
attack.
like every like action movie or like scary movie.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people still believe that too.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard not to believe that.
Like, oh, I'm in open water. Like, I'm probably gonna get attacked by a shark.
Yeah,
it's like no.
I mean, I'll always think that.
More likely, like the tide's gonna get you before a shark does.
Yeah. Like whichever the rip tide.
Yeah, like I think I read something that was like a human is more likely to kill a shark than a shark is to kill a human.
Interesting. I don't think I could take a shark. That's a conversation for a
You saw
different
it
time.
coming?
No. Next opening question.
Maybe
Could
on
you find a
land.
shark?
Maybe on land you could find
On land, yeah, can't breathe. It's like me diving down after a shark. I can't breathe. Yeah, I guess, home field advantage.
Exactly, that's all I'm saying.
Or who's the guy in the Meg who like
Oh yeah.
Jason Statham.
So unless you're Jason Statham. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you just punch a shark and you win.
Okay.
I think that is the weak spot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or is
the
that a
nose.
myth?
gills, right? Or in the nose or
The
something?
nose, I
I think
think.
the nose.
I don't know.
No.
I just
And
not
maybe
something
the
I want
eyes.
to test out.
Yeah.
And aren't they afraid of dolphins? Maybe that's a myth. That's what I learned as a
Probably.
kid.
Did a dolphin tell you that?
Yeah.
Sounds fake.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's probably fake.
Did a dolphin tell you that?
Well, that kind of goes perfectly into our little Spookfest wrap up. So we were supposed to talk about horror movies, like just the straight out like slasher,
Yeah.
gross, violent.
Yep.
So I kind of just put together a little list of like the classics that came to mind that I feel like are like the staple horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So should I just read these out and then if you guys want to add any?
Yeah.
I had Halloween, which including the new ones.
Yep. Yep.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, and I don't know. I always think of Chucky. I've never even seen Chucky.
Oh yeah, I've seen like bits of Chucky.
Yeah.
I was so afraid of Chucky when I was a kid. I couldn't even like see the doll. I couldn't.
So yeah, I would say to put a little context to this genre, the slashers, horrors are like always like a little bit disturbing. Like you're never gonna feel good about after a slasher, like how we were talking about like a thriller. You're like, wow, that was like. I mean, you could have a good like quality movie, but like they don't usually make your brain like go like, wow, what a great writer that put that together. Usually it's just like, holy crap, what an awful situation. I can't believe that person just went through that. Like that's basically how you're viewing it. Or like the Chucky's like that creepy, just so unsettling that you're like don't even want to be a part of that like situation. So I don't know. I feel like we've kind of classified them all as we went. So I don't know. I feel like I actually have only seen like pieces of these because you know me, I'm not the hugest horror person, but yeah, I don't know. They've never really done it for me as far as like wanting that disturbed feeling.
So I saw Scream when I definitely should have. Now that it says 1996, I was like 8. Shouldn't have seen it. Definitely saw it. The funny thing about Scream is it's a good horror movie, but it's like a little teen drama-y.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. It's like Fear Street, where it's the high school setting, like
Yeah.
terrorizing the high school, killing the high school kids.
Right.
Nightmare on Elm Street and Chucky were ones I saw as a kid, and absolutely I don't know what my parents were thinking letting that in the house. Horrified of both of those. I never really saw the Jason movies, the Friday the 13th movies, because I had a cousin who had a VHS copy of Jason 2, Jason Returns from Hell.
Wow.
And I was so afraid of the cover. I was like, I'm never seeing this. And then I watched Halloween like last week for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The first one.
the first one. And it's when you like hear of the story behind it, it was like a super independent film with like no budget. And the original mask, like the famous Mike Myers mask, was a Captain Kirk mask that they painted white for $2. They bought it for $2, cut the holes out, the eyes out, and painted it white, and that was the mask that they used, the famous mask.
Wow.
And it got thrown out, and they've never been able to replicate it because that type of Captain Kirk mask wasn't made again. And so this multi-billion-dollar movie franchise at this point can't get the same. The mask has looked different in every movie. But it's actually like not entirely scary being an independent movie that was made almost over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 50 years ago. But it was cool how when you like watch it and you're like, this was made so cheap and stuff. But
yeah. I guess I feel like what I was saying before. I don't think that you can have a good horror movie. They're just not
Oh,
my
totally,
cup of
yeah.
tea. So like, I guess I wish I could give these like a chance, especially like you're saying those older ones that like they don't really hit the same because of what we're used to nowadays with like how real and like amazing they can make things look. So I probably should go back and watch some of them. But
Go ahead.
I think Halloween and Friday the 13th. I haven't seen the original Halloween. I saw the newest one, like not the one that just came out, but like the one that like rebooted it all up, and I really liked that one. That was really good. But I feel like it's more like the music that makes those two movies like scary. Like when I watched Friday the 13th for the first time like 2 years ago, it still was creepy because it's like a serial killer on a camp, but it wasn't like I was fine after. It's just more of like, ooh, like the music is so creepy.
yeah.
So I think that you could, yeah, they hit a little
I'm
different
not like
now.
super like afraid of them. I think I'd be fine. It's just like another thing with it is I feel like they often have that like, why would you go down that road, or why would you do this thing? It's just like you're constantly like correcting the movie. It like takes you out of it, I think, and more for some people probably than others. But I guess I just haven't found like that same value of just having pure like terrorizing as like the
Yeah.
entertainment piece. Like it kind of just like gets old, you know.
I think in the case of all these, it was very 70s and 80s to have that. Like
Just like-
Jason walking around with a machete.
Right.
He's going to get you. Freddy Krueger with his claws and you're sleeping.
Right.
But when it comes to Scream, it was actually like a, what's going on here? Who did it? It's
Okay, yeah.
It's starting to get to the point where they're like leaving a breadcrumb. You're like, oh, it's this person. But it wasn't that
So you're
person.
putting something together.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Rather than like you're home alone, you get a phone call and you're like, yeah, like, oh, you know, like,
Well, that's how Scream starts.
That is how
Oh, is
Scream
it?
starts, yeah.
Drew Barrymore.
Well, it's funny because that was the whole thing I remember.
there's just so
It's
many
like,
of those.
this is a Drew Barrymore in this scary movie, and she's killed in the first, 8 minutes. She,
Yeah.
answers the phone, and the killer kills her. It's just...
Yeah. I guess if it has like that psychological piece that like keeps you guessing or even like slowly unveils like what's going on, then like I think I would like that more than just the straight. Or like I haven't seen really the Saws.
I saw the first one, and it's a gross-out movie.
Yeah, it's just like how nasty of a situation can I create that's
Yeah.
just awful. And it's just like, yeah, I don't really need to see like that. Like I'd rather something a little bit more of a psychological thriller than
That's why
just
I think
gore.
the Conjuring movies are good, because they're going to jump scare you and be like, oh my God, more than... There's not a lot of... There's no gore.
Yeah,
But
even
it's
yeah.
well acted and directed and creepy in that way, but not...
Even the pieces of like horror that like Stranger Things has drawn from, it's like the best parts of it. Like there's this upside down. Like what is that? It's creepy. And then the Demigorgons, like when they come after you, it's got that like scariness to it of, you know, the Thrasher or whatever, or like the dogs in what was that season when season 2, like the dogs like rip people apart. It's like, oh, that's like gory and awful, but like not over the top. And I don't know, it takes those pieces of horror and like uses them really well. So I don't know, I guess I just prefer that, but but these are classics, so I should probably circle back, and especially now, and watch them.
The other one, I don't think I've ever seen it. It might be a Stephen King one that's along these lines. It's Children of the Corn. My younger brother really liked it when he was a kid, and I was like, okay, there's something up with you. But it's like a culty children are like in cornfields, and it's like in the 80s, so it's like
Yeah.
that falls in this.
I think all the kids become possessed.
Yeah,
Right?
something. And
They,
they're
like-
follow some, I don't know. It was too creepy. I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah. It's funny when you're not expecting a movie to be like creepy and awful like that, and you're like get into it, and you're like even the what was the Midsommar?
Oh yeah.
You like I've seen that like the poster for it like on like Netflix or whatever, and it's like some lady that like so she's like going to a festival, but it looks I don't know, like it would be like a rom-com or like
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh yeah. It's,
And then you told me what it's about, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like that is not what that like
have
seems
you
like it would be.
seen, The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
That's a creepy one, but it's like a good one, and you're like, I don't know, it's like not a ton of like jump scares even, and there's like no gore. I don't think so. I think like a kid or people die, but you almost don't even see it. But that's another good one that kind of is, it's different than Midsommar, but
yeah,
it's like psychological. You keep being like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
Midsommar, I watched the trailer this past weekend because I considered watching it. And at the end of the trailer, I was like, I feel nauseous. I can't watch this.
Yeah, it gets worse if you watch it.
Well, I know like some parts because I looked up the plot.
Oh, yeah.
And they just give like a vague description of like, and then this happens. And then I saw it in the trailer. I was like, oh, I know exactly what that is. No thanks.
Yeah. No thanks. All set.
I'll just watch Black Widow for Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Or Little Women. She's kind of a boss in that one. So
yes. Now we can just roll right into what we've been watching recently, currently, just to catch up a little bit.
Yeah. I can jump right in. A new season that just dropped somewhat recently, I think last month. One of my favorites on Netflix, Sex Education. Season 3 came out. Actually, we just finished it like 2 days ago, and overall great. Actually, it feels like they did announce another season after this, but a lot of the through lines and like stories that they had been developing are like had finally kind of come to an end in this season, and they set a couple new things up, but kind of wrapped up the first like 3 seasons like all into one. So yeah, have you guys seen any of these? Pretty good. It's one of my favorites on Netflix. I don't know if I need to get into like what it's all about. I feel like you guys can just go watch it. But anyways, it's just highly recommended to at least watch those first 3 seasons.
It's always trending on like Twitter and.
I feel like the name actually is kind of like it can be off-putting to people. I feel like they think it's going to be different than what it is. Like it's a good like drama with like some comedy, but it's done really well. It's cool that it's shot in like I think England, and it's tackles a lot of like progressive issues with race and like gender and all this stuff that like are some hot button issues these days. And it's basically it's about the kids like accepting their sexuality and like that they don't know and that they're learning about it. But like it's relatable because every high school is like that, whether they're focusing on it in this show or not. So I don't know, it's relatable, and then it's really well done, and you know get attached to the characters, and it's just pretty good. So
the boy's mother in that show is Scully from X-Files. That's her name, Scully?
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds right.
So
she's good.
If you like X-Files.
Yeah, so just finished that up, which was very good.
Nice.
Highly recommend.
Anything else? Or
well, I mean,
want to go around? Or
I might have to think of the next one that I.
So I think I mentioned this to you too when you did your 2-man pod, that I had been watching a show called Physical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Rose Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a newborn and the Red Sox making a playoff run kind of derailed me, so I started picking that up again, and it's just so much heavier than I thought, because she has like the eating disorder. That's like what it's centered around. But then as it goes on, it's really just like an addiction thing. She starts getting addicted to aerobics, and she's like, her husband's running for like local politics, some seat, and she's keeping the book for it, but she secretly has a second book. So she like will pay to have a aerobics movie made and just not tell her husband and the campaign manager, so like they don't know actually how much money they have, and so she steals some stuff to try and get.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like crazy, and then but then like in the most recent episode I watched, there was like it was discovered she was abused when she was a kid, so that like led to the like, and she did ballet, and that's what led to the eating disorder. And it's like, this is so much heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
Especially they kind of like glitz and glam 80s it up at the beginning, so you think like, oh, this is gonna be funny. She's just gonna like steamroll her way into becoming like Farrah Fawcett, and it's good, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch this and then take a break.
Yeah, what did I sign up for? Same thing.
That recently appeared on like just like shows to watch, like recommended, and it was listed under comedy.
I mean, yeah, there's so like her videographer and the person that taught her aerobics are like these burnouts, like California hippie burnouts, and it's they're funny, and then like the campaign manager is a burnout a little bit. That stuff is there, but then like the meat of it is like, it's not funny. It's not funny at all.
This is making me sad.
That's an Apple TV one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to add that. I love
I know,
Rose
I
Byrne.
think I started it, but we haven't gotten back to it yet. But like just like the first like 15 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so I have quite a list.
Nice.
Do you remember like a few episodes ago we joked about how I only watch stuff on Netflix?
Yes.
I got something from every service.
Oh,
yes,
all
good.
right.
You've been expanding your
branching out.
horizon.
But first I'll just quickly say I watched the second Fear Street finally.
Nice. Good.
Wasn't as bad as the first one, like gore wise. It was good. I liked it.
Nice.
I liked it better than the first one. Summer camp vibes, so kind of like Friday the 13th.
Okay.
But they held back a little bit, so that was nice. And then sticking with horror, I watched a movie called Underwater. It's on HBO. It has Kristen Stewart. It's basically the movie Alien, but they're underwater at like it's like a little unrealistic because they have like a giant like station set up in like the Mariana Trench. So like I don't think we've actually
I hear
been
that's
able to
deep.
go down
Yeah.
there in real life, but that's where they are, and they're drilling like into the ocean's surface
Just
and
to go
they
lower.
drill. Yep, they drill too far,
Oh, boy.
and like something wakes up.
Oh.
And it's like her and this like small group
Godzilla.
of people that are left trying to like get out, but they're at like the lowest point in the ocean. So
Wow.
it was really good. I
That
went into it
sounds-
expecting nothing. Just it seemed interesting. It was Halloween weekend, and it was like actually really intense and fun.
Wow.
TJ Miller's in it too. He's like one of the people with Kristen Stewart. He's like the
Jeez.
comic relief.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Jeez. Next one I have to say is Dino Ranch is a children's no.
I was like, are you watching this with Maeve?
I actually have been
Melon?
watching a show called Dino Ranch with Maeve, and it is pretty good on Disney Plus if you have kids. Shout out, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's pretty cute. It's just a group of kids on a ranch that ride dinos. And,
Exactly what it sounds like.
yeah, it's pretty good. Actually, as far as kids programs, I'm like, wow, that was like kind of enjoyable. There's no singing, which is
Oh,
great.
nice.
It's just like, let's ride Dino Ranchers, and they go and on adventures.
That's
anyways,
awesome.
and
Great costume
dinosaurs.
idea for next Halloween. She dressed
yeah.
up as one of the ranchers, and you dress up as like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like the dinos don't look too mean, but they like still are like big
Yeah.
dinos, so it's like the perfect combination. And there's a season 2 coming out.
Yes.
So that's
Amazing.
really great.
All right, so my next show.
No. I think I got to mention Dune.
Yeah, I watched Dune.
We watched that new movie on HBO, and I definitely got like the Star Wars like vibe, like a saga like that. And I don't know. We might have talked about it, but it kind of does feel like a setup movie to like others to come, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any spoilers. Really,
There's
but-
like, yeah, there's tons of setup, like you said.
Yeah.
But there's still action. There's still, and then you think like, you didn't even get into. They talk about this group of people throughout the whole movie, and they didn't even explore them. You meet them, but briefly, and like that's exciting to be like, okay, I wonder if that's where we're heading in the next one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess I can maybe with your help kind of give like a overall synopsis that there's like the like empire, the people in charge, and then there's this subgroup of people who like live in the desert, and like in order to survive in the desert you have to like be trained in the ways of these people.
Yeah.
And whatever, some royal family fell out of luck with
Well,
the
so
empire,
they got
and
like the empire told this certain like family,
or like
Timothy, is that his
Yeah.
family?
yeah, his
Okay.
family,
that
that
his like
you have
country
to-
or like
yeah,
planet?
you have to go to a different planet because the world runs on spice. Like,
Yes.
and they have to cultivate the spice. I don't know what happened to the people before. I think there was a big fight and they got killed. And so they go to this planet with these other people, and they're starting to do the spice mining because they're just being told to. And they even like meet with the native people and like, hey, we're just here to do our thing. And they're like, well, just stay inside the city walls. The desert's ours. And they kind of do that. And then, then there's some greed from a big sloth-like guy, and
Yeah.
stuff goes down.
Yeah. That's a pretty good synopsis. Sounds a little wild with the spice and stuff, but it is like a good like resource and like a whole. It's a whole thing.
They do a good
You get into it.
they do a good job explaining everything that's going on, but not going too far with it. Like
Yeah.
it starts with a voiceover, and then there's every now and then Timothy Chalamet is like watching a hologram, like Princess Leia like hologram, and it's like, here's 30 seconds on what's happening to catch you up,
Yeah.
and then
they do a good job bringing you along.
yeah, it was so well done.
But it also, like I'm saying, it makes you want to like see more. Like it's a good setup. You kind of get the lay of the land and where everybody's at, and then you're like, well, like how's that gonna play out? And you are satisfied, like what you said, the action and like there's some good like things, but definitely want to see and look forward to more.
That was actually very helpful because I'm seeing it Friday,
Oh, nice.
and I didn't know anything about it, so this is a little helpful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Are you going to a theater?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
They got those like spaced out ones with like the nicer seats.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're kind of like 5 feet away from everyone anyways.
Yeah.
There's like the sections of
Like
two.
I guess I'll go to the nice theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's safer that way. I did say the other day, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to see Zendaya. And one of my friends was like, don't be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Geez, spoiler alert.
Wait, because
Well, she's in it for like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
in it a lot. That's all.
Oh.
She's good in it. though.
Should I cut that out? Is that a spoiler?
No. No. I meant for your friend. Your friend
Oh.
just
yeah.
like let you go in.
I know. I was like,
blind.
let me be
Yeah,
excited.
Be excited to see Zendaya, and then be like, I wish
I
there was
mean-
more Zendaya.
It's a 2.5 hour movie. You probably see her every like half hour. Like she's there.
That works for me.
Yeah.
But there'll be more with her, I think.
So the next thing for me, so I've been watching Physical, and it's not a comedy. So I have been watching 2 other comedies to like ease watching Physical, and one of them has just been What We Do in the Shadows. We've talked about that.
Yep.
I've watched like 7 of the 10 episodes this season. Just same as always. It just nails it. So good. So well done. And then the other one is on Amazon, and it's called Fleabag.
Oh, yeah.
That's popular on there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who, have you ever heard of the show Killing Eve?
Mm-hmm.
She wrote that, and she's going to do a show with Donald Glover soon. They're like going to work together. They both signed exclusive Amazon deals, I guess. But anyways, Fleabag is a very adult show, NSFW, and it is basically about this train wreck of a woman. And she lives in London. She runs a guinea pig themed cafe that is failing.
It's very specific.
Yeah, I know, it's so funny. But you do learn like she has some like trauma, and she is kind of leading this life to like bury it. And there's like flashbacks, but they're quick, and you're like, okay, there's more here, but she's like also just a train wreck, and it's super funny.
I have never been more sold on the show.
I feel like I've started like again the first like 10 or 15 minutes of that and just haven't gotten back to it.
You saw the guinea pigs and you were like, no.
What is this?
The writing, she's just like the writing is. Some of the jokes are just like, that's great.
But my next one is on Hulu. It's Only Murders in the Building.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of their like trending one, or has been the past like month. It's Selena Gomez, Martin Short. I always mix up the Martins, and Steve Martin.
Oh, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, which is like a very strange trio, but
Yes.
it works and it's really funny, and it's like a murder mystery. But they also, so they all live in the same building, and they're all obsessed with true crime podcasts. And then someone gets murdered, and they both like meet on the night of the murder because they're like sitting in the same diner listening to the same podcast. And they like take it upon themselves to be like, we can solve it. Like, we're going to be better at this than the police. Also, let's make a podcast about it.
Oh my God.
And like release an episode every week. So then like it kind of becomes a thing in the city. And like,
Wow. That's pretty cool.
they're like solving a murder, and it's really funny.
Wow. Yeah, I'd check that out.
I've seen that it's trending and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is funny that it's Steve Martin and Martin Short, and then it's also like, and Selena Gomez. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Unlikely trio.
Yeah, I recommend it.
I feel like I don't. Hulu's usually one of my last, like, when I circle through the services looking for like a new show for whatever reason. I feel like Hulu's a lot of the live stuff.
My brother got rid of it, so I don't have it anymore.
Yeah. But good to know. Another one for me, we watched the other night. It's a mini series on Netflix about Colin Kaepernick's like life.
Oh, I saw that. That's new, right?
Just really new. And I don't know, there's obviously, well, his whole protesting and like the systemic racism that he faced and like all this stuff, obviously an issue, but it kind of gives just the background on like where he came from, and the like, I guess a big part of it is like the microaggressions that like someone like going through the system of football, or apparently he was adopted and had two white parents, so like all of being in that life, and like he played baseball, he was a great baseball player, but going through that sports world and like the little microaggressions that he grew up with, and then now looking back on it, reflecting it, he can just address these things better as an adult, and knowing, you know, what the system has done and what the system in like the larger sense, but also like the sports system. So I don't know, it's just kind of a cool perspective. I think like a lot of people know that Colin Kaepernick did the like kneel down for the flag thing, and there's mixed things about that. But this is cool because he kind of explains his perspective a little bit more, and just that perspective on like systemic racism in general. So kind of educational and in that sense, and like a perspective that people should hear. So, but it was also like good. They do like live, like it's like a show. He kind of narrates some of it, and you saw it, right?
No, I saw it pop up.
So he narrates some of it to like kind of drive home points and be like, when I was a kid, I didn't even know blah, 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 blah. And like, then they show like a scene or like an episode of him like going to a baseball tournament, and like how the hotel treated him when he was there with all of his teammates, you know what I mean? And, but it's like, so it's like a show that you watch. And then he kind of like bops in and out as like a narrator to really drive home. He also has like some historical stuff he throws in, and like, I don't know, it's just really like cool and well done. It's got like that tiny documentary piece, and then the rest of it's like a show. So, and Nick Offerman's like, he plays his dad in it, which is kind of funny.
Oh, so it's like a reenact? Like, does he reenact?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like a
Oh.
reenactment. They have an actor that plays him as a younger kid, like a high schooler, and it like goes through as like each episode was like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year,
Oh, that's cool.
and of like high school, and then like I don't know, I got to keep watching to see like senior year or college, whatever. But it's just, yeah, it just kind of takes you through like defining moments. Even like he got like cornrows for the first time as like a black kid living in a white neighborhood and like on a white baseball team and stuff. So I don't know, it's just cool to see kind of what he went through and his perspective on it all, and definitely a good perspective for people to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it though.
Interesting.
It was
I didn't
like,
realize it was a like reenactment
yeah
type show.
But it was like really like well done too in that sense. So it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
The only other thing I think I've been watching has been Impeachment, which is the latest like
Oh, I want to watch that.
like OJ
American Crime Story.
American Crime Story. Yeah, there was the OJ one, then the killing of Versace, and now it's impeachment of Bill Clinton and Beanie Feldstein plays Monica Lewinsky. What's her name? She's in all these.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson plays a big, like a name from that time, which is crazy because it was so in the news when I was a kid. This was all the news was.
It's funny now that when they make like movies or shows about stuff that happened when we were.
Oh yeah, same with
younger.
the OJ thing. It's like
It's
I
like,
remember that
I
all
remember
the
that
time.
being real, yeah.
Yeah,
Getting old, I guess.
exactly. And
And
then
all the people are still alive, so they're like, oh, there I am on TV.
yeah, yeah, it's interesting. So it's still so behind the scenes, and like you feel bad. You don't hear the story of like Monica Lewinsky, but she was like obsessed with Bill Clinton, like madly in love with him. And she would like call the White House, like trying to just talk to him. And he was the president, wouldn't return the calls for like months at a time. And she would just like not leave her apartment, not do all this stuff. And it's like messed up because it's the most powerful man in the world and a 23-year-old intern that he got moved to go work in the Pentagon because he didn't want her around anymore. It's just like such a messed up story.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't hear all that. And then there's like other names I remember from my childhood, like Paula Jones, and I keep forgetting the Ann Coulter is like a news person. All these people that I remember and seeing them and seeing how it played out, like now as an adult, is kind of crazy.
Is the show good?
Yeah. Beanie and Sarah Paulson, that's all that really have been in it because they became friends, those two women in real life. So, well, until everything blew up. But
Cool.
yeah, it's on FX, so it's probably on Hulu.
I think it is.
I've been DVRing it.
Ooh,
Well, I don't have Hulu.
old school.
I mean, I hit ad on YouTube TV. I feel like I'm within reason here.
Get your VHS out and record.
I gotta time it. I'll start at 8:55 just
I
to make
miss
sure it's
DVR.
record.
That was the best. I wish I still had it. It was so convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Don't have to have a whole service for like one show.
Yeah.
So I watched Cruella on Disney Plus,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Emma Stone version. It was good. It was really good.
I heard it was good, yeah.
I would have been fine if it was like a kids family movie, and it was, but I expected it to be like, mainly for kids, but it's Emma Stone, so like we'll all like
Yeah.
it. But I feel like it was more for like teen and up. Like it was a
Yeah.
little more
I
adult.
feel like the live action stuff that they've done has kind of leaned that, like Aladdin and
yeah.
yeah.
Like it was pretty. There was moments that were like dark. It like starts right off the bat of like something messed up happens, and you're like, oh, so this is why she's Cruella. Something like snapped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super well done. The soundtrack was really good, which was unexpected, and like her acting is just. I love everything she does, and
Oh, yeah, like Emma
she
Stone.
nailed it.
Sweet. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to tune that up.
Got another one?
I know.
Nice. You're all done too?
The only other
Actually,
thing I've
the
seen
NFL.
you just like
Yeah.
reminded me was I watched Black Widow on Disney Plus.
Nice.
That was good.
Nice.
And then I also saw that Shang-Chi is going to like free Disney Plus like next week. Which
Oh,
is
really?
Cool. Yeah.
I'm
Because
so
that one's
excited.
got good reviews,
Oh,
right?
it's so good.
Oh yeah. So, wow, good.
Yeah.
I always
one-
like these shows when we just do like a
Yeah.
what's on tap, what we've been watching, because it
Yeah.
gives me all these ideas of things to go and do.
I feel like I need to watch Fleabag
Yeah.
immediately.
And Dino Ranch, I know you were really
Oh,
looking
of
forward to that
course.
one.
That's a given. I've already been watching that.
Please. Speak freely. I am not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise. I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer. Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please, speak freely.
Right? Yeah, right in the same Mandalorian vein.
Yeah, it's the same, basically everything.
Yeah.
Just a new character for now, but I think it like takes place during the same time, I think. So,
I don't know if they were just using it for the sake of the trailer, but you definitely heard the Mandalorian's voice. So I don't know if it's
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
isn't that-
and this was the little stinger at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. So I wonder if they're just going to seamlessly weave everyone together.
Oh.
I think so, because then there's Ahsoka too.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a part of season 2.
Kind of like how they did the Marvel thing and just like did all the
Yeah.
individual movies and then like
Then all of a sudden, you got Captain America:
Avengers.
Civil War.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just no. I'm
All of a sudden, Star Wars.
I'm so pumped for this. I just think they do such a good job, and it's every week, you're getting like 30 minutes of fun and action, and it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, if the same people and everything are making this that made Mandalorian, like, I'm in. I was very impressed with that.
It's the same group of directors too that I guess are coming back and
Nice.
doing most of them.
That's great.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, looks good.
December 29th. I'm there.
Absolutely. I've been impressed with like the Disney Plus stuff, like the originals, as far as the movies that they've gone right to it, but all the Marvel stuff and like this line of stuff has been really good. So
Yeah.
It's been worth it to have
yeah,
the subscription.
it's nice when these like I don't know when this all like exploded, the pluses happened, but but it's been like pretty good to have like I guess I've been impressed with this, impressed with Apple TV, like all of their content has been real solid. And I don't know, I feel like these are kind of the extra ones. Like everyone kind of had Netflix and maybe like Amazon, and now like these extra ones that we've gotten have been worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when they were like, look at what Netflix has done, we have to throw a ton of money at our own service, and then they did, and they got really good people and really good stories. Yeah. It's been awesome.
I feel like Netflix still has the girth and like the library and the depth of a streaming service, and some quality, and some just like, oh, I want to put like Seinfeld on or something. You know, like it still has all that, which is great. But then like, especially Disney Plus and Apple, they've got like their new stuff at least is like really quality. The originals and stuff have been, I think, very good.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what's horrible is Paramount Plus. I think it is.
Yeah, Paramount and Peacock are like, I don't think I need it.
At least Peacock has like NBC shows.
Yeah.
Paramount.
But you can get like a lot of those on like Hulu
That's
or
true.
like watch
I
them
think
live.
Parks and Rec is still.
I have
on
Peacock
Hulu.
just because I have Comcast for internet.
And isn't there a free version
Xfinity.
of Peacock?
There is.
So you can watch some of that stuff anyway, which is great. But I'm just saying it's kind of just like a shell of what they already have, whereas you know what I mean, like a interface for their shows.
I feel like Paramount's thing was, we're gonna give you so many movies that are that Paramount produced over time that's what's gonna draw you to it. It's
That's
like,
true.
do you want to watch?
Although I think they have some original content coming out, which
They probably
maybe
do.
they'll make a splash with something and be like, oh well, I guess I'm in.
It'll take a while though.
Yeah. I mean, I probably have to have a couple of them that it's like, oh, there's like 4 shows you got to go watch on, and then you maybe get it. But yeah, these two are pretty dynamite.
Yeah.
I mean, The Mandalorian, Ted Lasso.
Come on,
Yeah.
nothing better.
What else do you guys say?
Thought you meant on Disney Plus for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
No,
It's not on Disney.
I've liked C on Disney Plus or on Apple TV. That Palmer movie was good. The other new one with the family who is deaf and
Here.
is it Here?
No, it's
Oh, that one was really good.
See,
though,
they're
too.
blind. I just hear.
Yeah. Here.
Was that the Mosquito one that you watched?
Oh, Mosquito Coast was good too. Yeah, so good stuff. Oh, and HBO. I love HBO
Oh,
Max.
Oh yeah,
That might be my favorite. Period. But
yeah. That's the one I'm on most.
yeah. Well, I guess we're having a little review of the services.
Little tangent. I started Veep
Oh yeah.
just before we move on from HBO.
Veep
Oh,
is
nice.
so funny.
And it's
I haven't
very
seen all
funny.
of it, but oh my god, the characters, each person is just perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so I do have a Letterboxd review
Yes.
to close this out. I haven't seen the new Halloween movie, but I grabbed a review from it. Heard it's not doing too well, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I think you have to adjust what you expect from movie theaters now, not just because like I haven't gone back to a movie theater, but also that movie is also just on Peacock too, so you can just
right.
watch it on Peacock.
I should do that. So this person gave it 2 stars. And they said, Michael may be a murderer, but at least he wears his mask over his nose. Okay.
That's a good one to end on.
Right? Very timely. We'll see you next time on Stream It.